Hi,
Hi, Norma. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing? How's the tour?
It's going. Oh, it's going well.
I
Going
bet, I bet everybody, no matter what, you are like, people use the word iconic just for everything now. Everything's iconic and like iconic, and the person's been doing something 10 years, like really. But there isn't one person ever that when you say Joan Jett, they just don't go out of their minds. They love you. They love you in a way that is so personal. It's kind of a little weird, but it's amazing. It's really, I swear, and I feel so proud because I feel like we shared a little bit of history for like a little
totally,
time there, right? And I feel
totally.
like so connected to you, and I'm so happy. My whole company want to be sitting here with me right now. They just, that's all they want to do. It's like, what are you doing? You're going like, what?
That
But
that's so
I'm,
awesome. I mean, it's really hard for me to fathom it because I feel, you know, like a regular person, kind of, and I kind of can't believe that people feel that way about me. I mean, it's amazing, and I'm constantly feeling blessed, and
yeah.
come up to me, and all the time, and it's quite amazing, really.
Yeah, I think so much of it has to do with authenticity and that you just are who you are. There's no bullshit ever. It is like pure Joan. And people really appreciate that that they can depend on you to be who you are and not to be anything else. And so seeing you in a concert, when are you coming to New York?
Oh, it's a good question. I'm gonna let you know one.
Okay, let's see if somebody, because for sure I mean, it just is such a high, and then of course, and I'll stop babbling because we have a lot to talk about. But
August 20th,
August 20th.
Pine Garden,
Oh,
the garden.
fantastic! Oh, fantastic! Um, but I think also like whatever some of your classic songs are like they're the top songs at any karaoke anywhere in the world. I've done work in Japan, and it's hysterical that everybody becomes Joan Jett in Japan. Every
It's
word, every
crazy.
karaoke, it's like it's the best. It's just I love every minute of it, and you are just extraordinary. So thank you for keep doing what you do.
Thank you.
Okay, so I I have a friend who's an astrologer, and she sends me to different cities um, for my birthday for a good chart. And one time she sent me to Cincinnati and the only thing that was at Cincinnati or Cleveland, where the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is.
Hmm.
So of course, like what else is there to do? So I go, I'm like, oh my God, this is a great way to spend my birthday. Anyway, I go there, and of course I see you and your stuff and things that I do with you. And it was like, this is a good birthday after all. That was such a good time. Seriously, the seeing you come onto this stage of the world and presenting this image of a woman that is just a whole other independent, strong. So besides your music and your talent, the impact of who you are and what you've done for women is just like sort of this thing that comes along with it. How often do people talk to you about that?
They talk to me about that mainly. It
Oh,
seems to be
really?
one of the first things. Certainly, women when they come up to me, younger girls when they come up to me. Um, I was traveling yesterday or the day before, and ran into a girl who just come from Japan. she was going to New York, and she was telling me how important, I was. Not the music though. It was more about who I was and what I gave her permission to do as a young woman. And I
Yeah.
guess, for each person, that's a really different thing because each person has their own personal experience with what that is. But, if I give people strength somehow to be more of who they are, I mean, it's hard to kind of understand it and understand
Yeah.
why, and so I guess I try not to think about it too much or analyze it. And I'm lucky that I'm sort of like a conduit for some kind of energy that
Right.
comes, and I'm really here to just pass it along and to not think that it's more than that about me,
Yeah.
because you get into that ego thing, and that's a
Yeah.
really dangerous area to get
Yeah.
into.
It's so true. Um, so we also have something in common. Um, there was a period of time where you made a decision to basically go on your own to do your thing, right? And I obviously went on my own also, and it takes a lot of courage to do that, and a lot of it has to be, well, you have no choice. You have to do this, and whatever you're going to do it, and then you realize that you really have strength that you didn't realize you had, right? So what was the circumstance that made you really bravely kind of take on something most performers, most musicians, most singers don't typically take on? That's like that's like real strength, real courage. So how did all of that come about?
I mean, it was a couple of things, and I think it keeps coming up throughout my life to recommit, I guess. Um, the first thing was after my first band, the Runaways, broke up. And I loved that band so much. It was my baby, and it was my teen years. And it's like I couldn't have had, even though there were, things that weren't very positive in that experience, most of it for me was was positive. And so when that all ended, and it was like over, and I was 18, 19 years old, and people are treating you as a has-been, and really, um I guess my image at the time was not for mass consumption, and people really had a lot to say about it and were very nasty, and a lot of negative things to call me. And whether that was the press or not so much other musicians or the fans, they were more gentle and allowed me to just go wherever that path was going to take me. But certainly the industry was didn't want to have anything to do with me. And so I was about to stop doing what I was about to like join the military or something. I was at my wit's end for
Right.
real. And I
Yeah.
was like, I'll join the military. I'll learn to do something. Maybe I'll travel, and I won't just be sitting here in LA partying too much and killing myself. So I'd never had to go into the military because a couple days later I met Kenny Laguna
Huh.
to work on a project that I had committed to before the Runaways broke up. It was a songwriting project, and I didn't want to get sued for not fulfilling it. So my manager at the time knew Kenny Laguna and made some calls and said, "Would you write some songs with Joan for this project?" So he came out to LA and we met, and we hit it off really well right away. And it was like, sort of just really bonded, and listened to my story. I mean, he had known of me before that and almost worked with the Runaways prior to that. And, but we never did. And as he heard my story, he, I guess, could relate in some ways. He had been in the industry, he was a songwriter and been in a lot of late 60s bubblegum bands like the 1910 Fruit Gum Company, and had a lot of hits on his own with
Yeah.
these bands and had his own experience with the industry. So, and he had a lot of friends in the industry, and I think he felt that he could help me. So first we were songwriting partners. Then he produced some of the songs we wrote just for our own, just to have them on our own. And then I wanted to form a band. He helped me form the first Black Hearts in Los Angeles. And so we decided to kind of try to be serious about this. And he was going to help me with this Blackheart band. And we wrote more songs and eventually moved the band from Los Angeles to New York because it was just a better area to do live concerts. You had 5 states that you could play
Yeah.
clubs and get home in the same night. So if
Yeah.
you were a struggling band in a van, doing all that, it was cost effective. So that's how I continued on after the Runaways. And we didn't have a lot of people that thought we didn't think we were going to be successful, just put it mildly. And Kenny would reach out to some of his record company friends, people in the industry, and see if we could get a record deal. And we sent the songs we had around, which happened to be 4 hits: I Love Rock and Roll, Crimson and Clover, Do You Want to Touch Me, Bad Reputation.
Oh
Sent,
my God.
sent them to all 23 major and minor labels, got 23 rejection letters saying, this is not what we're looking to promote right now. Maybe you should lose the guitar. Just a lot of different things. There are no songs here was the biggest one. You need to do a song search. So that tells you either they don't listen to what people send them, or they can't hear hits,
Yeah.
or they decided ahead of time, we don't want to deal with her, just make an excuse and blow her off. But, so we had all these rejection letters from named people that you would know. And eventually we got lucky playing and building our audience around the New York area. And some of the local radio stations, the big rock stations, started to support us. We had an album to play. They started playing it. And in the days when the audience could still call in and say, have requests, we got a lot of requests. And eventually, I Love Rock and Roll became a big hit. And that was really just word of mouth and the record companies pushing us. It was just timing, luck, the right place at the right time. And we had I Love Rock and Roll, which was huge and number one for 7 weeks. And so then, I went from sort of having nothing and sort of no success to being sort of this big thing. And now all of the media wanted to speak to me and, the things that weren't happening earlier. And we were lucky to have several successful songs in a row: Crimson and Clover, Do You
Right.
Want to Touch Me? And then, we hit a little dead space and, didn't. So I had put out a couple of songs that didn't do so well. And, then sort of people scatter again, and it's like, okay, she's had her thing. But, we keep plugging away, and I've always been a live act. So I never left the road, never sort of said, let me take a year off or anything like that, which I think has been one of the saving graces of my career, just because I've been out there always playing. So the band has stayed tight. We kept putting out records and, um, I don't know, I guess just stayed sort of in people's minds.
I think the just two things I think about with that is one, how it's sort of intuitive that there are songs that you do that just hold up no matter what is going on with music, right? There's all of these trends and different music types, but no matter what is going on, your music is just like in there and
And
strong. Like
and it was during
how?
the time period when I was having these hits that we met
Yeah.
because, it was a little bit after I Love Rock and Roll, but we met and you made my live jumpsuits that I
Yeah.
would play in,
Yeah.
and that was, quite amazing for me to have somebody of your stature sort of,
Oh, please.
concerned about what I was wearing,
Yeah.
But it
I
was just
mean, yeah,
the mindset you have to have,
yeah.
It's like,
But
so
but I think that not only does your music is timeless, it's just timeless. So the impact from the beginning to anybody who's ever heard any of the songs and connects with it is always going to love your music. It's a very unique thing. And I remember meeting you and thinking, um, and I was thinking how small you were, right? And are.
yes,
And
yes,
like this big person is really so small, but the energy, like the minute you get on stage, is like, whoa, what's happening? And I remember we talked about Elvis and that, you loved Elvis. I mean, the whole look, I thought, oh my God, this is beyond Elvis. This is like a whole other thing. Seeing you with that energy and the uniqueness um, was and still is. It just is. It's everything is just. I go back to that word iconic in the true, authentic use of the word. That all of that is holding up. It's timeless. It's you. It's unique, it's really extraordinary, and that the music. Um, I have people here who are in their early 20s
hmm
who are like talking. Oh my God, are you going to be talking to Joan Jett? I was like, yeah, and it's like, and I'm thinking, how cool is that? You know,
yeah,
it's
but and then you
it's
should interview them and ask them why, because I can't really give you an answer of what that is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is just the energy you put out as a person, like that you're brave, bold, authentic, unique, and you don't give up. You don't give up. I think you and I have both experienced careers that no career is like this all the time or like
Right,
this all, and no career, even though many people think that that's the way it is,
right,
it's
right.
like, can you survive this? Like, yeah, okay, it's going like this. What are we going to do to bring it back up? So when and I think you and Kenny, I mean, what a match. Like seriously, what a great guy. You deserve all of that time with him. And I love that his daughter is working with you.
It's amazing. It's
How
really amazing.
cool is that?
And
I mean,
she grew up in it, so it's like she knows how to do this, almost by,
it's genetics, it's
yes,
DNA.
absolutely.
So that's really great. But when you're thinking about, the world is so different now, Joan, right? Everything changes.
Yes,
There's a lot of disruption, which you survive through. I survived through. I think disruption is important because it makes us do things
yes.
in a better way, right? A lot of people are afraid of it. But I think music really has a place in it. So what are your thoughts about music now? I mean, what are you thinking about with the words and with the kind of music that I mean, you're going to always be authentic to you, but what are you thinking about in communication in this really disruptive time?
That's a really good question. I mean, I really just write about my life and what's going on, try to break it down into small bits. I mean, the songs that I wrote years ago seem to be just as relevant lyrically. Not all of them, of course. Like some songs are about, falling in love, falling out of
Right.
love, and very sort of mundane things like that. But other songs are deeper, and you can put a meaning on them. You could think that they were written, in the last 6 months.
Yeah.
Um, I think it's important to um, definitely let people know how you feel. I think it's difficult in these times because I don't sort of want to judge any audience members by their politics.
Hmm.
But music is political, and I think just part of it is for me not to think about it too much and just be, and not to take that sort of energy on the stage. I mean, it's really dicey because people want to come and enjoy themselves,
Right.
but they also want to know to some degree that you're tapped in and you know what's going on in the world. And that's maybe
Hmm.
not everybody, but um so, I try to find ways to maybe reference things that are going on without getting too
Yeah.
deep in the weeds. And it's definitely not something that I'm really good at and don't necessarily want to do it, but I feel that I kind of have to do it. It's kind of I have a platform, and so I have
Hmm.
to say something about it, or at least to try to draw people's attention and say, "Pay attention, know
Yeah.
what's going on." And if you want to blow it off, then great. But
Yeah. I mean, it's tough because you respect everybody that loves you and you want to connect with them. But I think music has such an important place when the the planet, the globe, everything is electrified right now. And there's so much going on that affects all of us. And it affects every country. It affects every part of our lives because the globe is like this smaller place now, right? We're all feeling everything that happens.
well, I know certainly on a one-to-one level, I feel when I talk to fans that music is it's medicine. It's medicine for the soul. I mean, absolutely, and everyone uses that in a little different way. But I definitely get the sense that people need to listen to music in these times, whether they're doing it to escape and not think about what's going on, or whether they're using it to really delve into it and focus on everything that's going on. Everyone's got their own way to use music to how it feels best for them.
Yeah.
But I'm very aware that music is that for many people. And
Yeah. What if somebody were to identify, like, as typically they do, I guess, if you're in the music industry, to say, well, how would you label your music? Is there, I mean, at one point people have said you were punk, and other points rock. It's like where is all of that now? How important is all of that?
yeah, I guess I always kind of label myself as rock and roll just because that's what I guess it's not in the sense if you say Chuck Berry of three-chord progression, that is
Right.
what rock and roll is. I mean, it's kind of a loose term, but I think a lot of it has to do with your attitude as well and the authenticity,
Hmm.
mystique, which is a thing that's gone missing. There
Yeah.
used to be very much part of sort of a rock and roll band was its mystique, and you always wanted to know more. And with the advent of social media or reality TV shows with bands in it, you lost all that sort of mystique.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted to let everybody in, and you know, um, I've never been like that. I like to keep sort of people at
I
arm's length.
Yeah, I agree. I So when you're doing all this traveling, what's it like? What's a typical day for you? Like, how do you deal with the the business of music, which is going from one place to another, maintaining sort of your life, being in a different environment. The audiences pretty much will be the same. They all love you and they just want to hear your music and sing with you and be with your energy. But how do you deal with the travel part of it, like going from one place to another? You must love a part of it because it's become your life, right?
No, well, I guess I did like the traveling at one point. The traveling is my least favorite part now. The actual physical traveling part of, getting in a vehicle and going to the airport or getting in a bus and driving for,
Right.
that part is I- I've I've had my fill of it. But playing, I love, to
Yeah.
do shows and seeing being in different cities and uh, that aspect of the traveling I love, and that is not really worn on me at all. I love it just as much, and I'm finding new areas to focus on, And
Hmm.
um, but yeah, the traveling it depends on if it's a day that we're actually moving. We don't usually do a gig on a day that we're traveling any length of
Oh,
time.
good.
Or
That's, yeah.
ahead of time, be where we're going the night before. And then that day, the day of the show, I'd probably get up at 10, get in the shower at noon so I can be ready by 3. And that probably includes eating some lunch or something. And then we usually leave for the venue 3-ish, something like that. And
So,
the
yeah.
sound check could be from 4 to 6,
Wow. Yeah.
and then on. And
So I was going to say, do you work out? What? I'm like, work out. You're working out like your job is working out. You're like,
so I never
yeah.
had, I never had to, but lately, as I'm getting older, I find that I probably have to do a little bit of something, So I do
What, like what?
some core work, some stuff for my shoulders because my both my shoulders are pretty beat up. I'm getting arthritis, so I have to try to just keep the move it or lose it thing is very
Yeah.
true, and it can be you can not want to move once in a while. You just want to
Yeah.
get around and not do anything. And I can do
You,
that maybe for a day or
yeah.
two, but then I got to do something.
Yeah.
And when I'm home. I live at the beach, so I can go on the boardwalk and walk around there, do a little weight work, and
Yeah.
so
It's really important to keep moving, but every time you perform, that's a lot of energy. I mean, that's like the most intense because it's not, you're just not working out, but you're singing at the same
yeah.
time and playing at the same time and being aware of your movements around a stage. It's really intense. I wonder, do you have an aura ring?
No, I don't.
Oh, you should get one just to see
Yeah, I know has
what
one.
happens when you're on stage. Like, what does that register at? I can't even imagine. I
What do you mean,
can't,
heart rate or?
or everything, because it measures steps. It really does an incredible measurement. And then I wonder what your sleep is like after, when you finally get down and can actually go to sleep, how you register. You definitely have to invest in one of
Yeah,
these.
I have a sleep. I do all that not with like separate apps. So I've got a sleep app,
Oh,
and
okay, good.
I'm pretty much a 7 hour a night sleeper. Regardless of my travel or how tired I am, or, once in a while I'll sleep
Yeah.
more than that or shorter than that, but pretty much a 7 hour sleeper. Um,
And so when you're playing the guitar, which you are really great at, and you really are a musician that is in its own right something that you could say you do, beyond Joan Jett, right? Joan Jett is this package of mystery, persona, all of that, but you're a guitar player, and and you're really good. And so how do you like, do you pick up the guitar to just play when you're feeling something, or is it like that's work when I'm not doing it, or like how it's like me sketching, like the time I sit down to sketch or I do something, how do you approach it?
I wonder if you always have a sketch pad around you. Like when I'm home, I have guitars out.
Yeah,
So, if I feel like, I get an idea, which happens a lot. I have a
yeah.
million little riffs or idea for a chorus or maybe what I think a verse or just some words. And so I have a little million of those. One day maybe I'll release a record of ideas.
So
And
do you record it when you do that? Do you automatically
I
have?
record it just on my phone.
You
Yeah,
do, yeah. Because I
absolutely.
mean that's great, because that then it's like so much has changed, right? From when we started to what we're doing now.
Oh,
Like for me too, I can do anything at any time because I have all of these tools that can help me do it. And so how many guitars do you have? Or do you have special ones that like what's your
I do. I have special ones that I use for specific things. I still use the ones that I started out using, really.
really?
Those are still my favorite. I have those as my number one on stage and number two on stage. And then I have one that was made special for me by Gibson. They
Oh, wow.
made a specific guitar for me. And, so God, I probably have above 30 guitars, but not because I play them all, but I've been gifted many of them. Um, but I'd say I probably own 10 that I use a lot or use.
Wow. Wow. That's amazing. So I can imagine that a number of people have said, we want to film your life. We want to do, a story, something. Have you had that? I'm sure you have. People approaching you.
People probably don't approach me directly. They approach Kenny or Carrie Ann, who's Kenny's daughter, who runs
Mhm.
Blackheart. But I guess maybe they think I'm just gonna say no right away.
Mhm.
So, they have to go explain it to but I people have asked me to do books several times, just an autobiography, and I
Mhm.
just really have no interest in doing that. You recounting blow by blow my life, and
Yeah.
people are just really looking for all the dirty
The
story,
dirt. Yeah.
really what they want.
Yeah.
So I just don't. That goes back to the mystique thing. It's like,
Yeah.
if you weren't there and we're not friends, we're not going to like just shoot shit about it. You know,
Yeah. I totally agree. A couple of people obviously have asked me to do the same, and then they write these kind of pitches for films or Netflix or something. And my life is kind of boring, to be honest. And so they try to make up stuff. And it was like, I don't think I have enough material for you, because I'm either working my ass off or like surviving or doing my thing. And I agree with you. The mystique and like just trying to have dirt and some kind of tired old story that you've heard a million times. It just,
exactly. And
yeah,
that's you're right, 100%. Because my life was much more wild in the Runaways, and after the early Black Hearts, a little wild, but after I started becoming successful, I had to, you have to either become responsible or
right.
be ready to throw it all away.
Yeah,
And there's no guarantee if you're responsible that you're going to be able to keep that career,
yeah.
but, you've got to sort of grow up at some point. So I think once I kind of grew up, the stories definitely got boring. There was nothing to really write about. I wasn't partying, I wasn't going
Yeah.
out, I was working. I was going,
Yeah.
coming home and hanging out with my cats, and that was it.
And the thing is, it's really the raw talent that is the energy and the survival instincts. I mean, you wouldn't be around this long. I wouldn't be around this long if we weren't serious about what we do and if we didn't really care about being good, right? And giving people quality. And I think for me, listening to what you do is your biography, really. It's so much about you know about you, even if the words are not specifically a story or that's telling your story. Just the fact that you're singing that song at this time, that you're feeling that this is the appropriate song to tell a story at this time is really the best way to get this to get the biography in a way, right? It's an information that the audience becomes aware of and appreciates. And I think that as long as you keep telling new stories and having new songs, the story is being told. And I think that's why people come to your performances, because they want you, and then they want to know what are you thinking about, how what you look like, how your energy is filling the space. And I mean, that's really the story to be told, not some made up kind of I don't know what.
Right, right. And it's the combination of the music, maybe when the first time people heard of you, and the music makes them feel good, and you're taking them back to that great moment that the music got them through, either a really good time, a really bad time, but whatever it was, that music connected with them.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what you're always doing, unless you're bringing in some new people, is you're helping them to go back to a time when music was, they were grooving
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah. So when you started to listen to music before you felt that you had something to say and something to present, what song really excited you in a way to say, I can do this. I can do this. This is I can see myself in this world.
I don't know if it was one. It was kind of just a whole class of that early '70s British glitter,
Oh,
T-Rex, David
um,
Bowie, Susie Quatro
yeah.
was a big one because she was a woman and she was having hits in England. I'm like, if she's doing that, then I can do that too.
Hmm.
So, yeah, a lot of British glitter music at first, and then around the same time, I 75, I heard the Ramones and sort of the clash of the two
Hmm.
styles, which were very similar in a lot of ways. Three
Yeah.
chords, big choruses. So between the British glitter vibe and punk rock stuff.
Oh, interesting. That, yeah, I can see that. So talking about the 70s, in fashion, um, and a couple of friends of mine, Ian Schrager, who had Studio 54 and has been still very involved in his world of hotels and everything. He and I have had conversations, and he says something I actually agree in, that the 70s in fashion were the most innovative um, in in the history of American fashion. It really was catapulted so much of what we do now. And I think you represent so much of that. And people even refer to you as a style, as a fashion icon, fashion sort of image. And that's so much a part of the 70s too, right? I mean, it was really part of that unique energy.
Everything,
And
that the shag haircut, you know, the glasses, the
yeah,
bell bottoms, but not always bell bottoms. Sometimes
mhm,
they're slimmer pants, like
right.
the platforms. Did I already say that? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the style was just great, and I didn't think of myself as sort of a stylish person. I was just
Oh, but seriously, no, no, you were not like anybody else. You had a very clear vision. You you created that look and that feeling, and it still holds up. It's still a relevant look, like your music. It still looks right, and people still emulate that look, which
amazing.
is what I'm getting to about the 70s, how that impact in that time really has held up as a really good reference for American fashion and music. And so, what are your thoughts about that? What are your thoughts about the 70s? Why did that happen? What was it about the time?
Oh boy, maybe a very perfect balance between too much and too little. You know, it was like took like the I wasn't really around for the '60s, but except for as a little child, but you could feel maybe some of the best styling out of the late '60s going into the '70s. And to me, when I think about the '70s, I think it was for me a lot of the best, for me personally, the best clothes, the best music, like we were discussing, influences. And I just, if I had to pick one time altogether, that was probably my favorite, just because of the wide variety of music too. It wasn't just rock and roll, but if you go back and look at the Billboard charts of, say, early '70s stuff, you'll hear such great um, uh, variety of music, from Stevie Wonder to Free to, you know, T Rex, just a wide variety of
Yeah.
great pop music. And rock and roll was played on the pop stations. So I don't know. It was I wish I had a better answer for you.
Well, no, I think that part of from a New York perspective, because there were different parts of the country that had different things going on. The South, Southern rock, and Austin had, Stevie Ray Vaughan and that kind of
Mhm.
sound. California had that kind of sound. New York was very, very specific. And in New York as a city was in really bad shape in the
In the
70s,
'70s, yeah.
really bad. It was dangerous. It was tough. People were leaving in droves. And what was happening is a lot of people came to New York who were were not in their hometowns. They didn't fit in, whether it was the way they felt about their gender and how their lifestyle should be, or women who didn't want to live in this housewife world that was prescribed for them. All of these people came to New York and were so thrilled to be free in a place that they could actually afford, because everybody left and rents were actually affordable, but you still had to like walk in the middle of the street at night when the lights are out and like handle it. But I think that the talent that came to New York was extraordinary, and the creativity and the appreciation for people like you, and the appreciation for new ideas, and not only in music but in fashion and the way people put themselves together. It was a moment in time that was really special, and I think it the fact that it's still appreciated is a testament to that. And the fact that people like you who have been able to evolve with the times and grow with the times and still have your authentic identity are appreciated says a lot for the quality of what happened, of what you came up with, and what obviously is obviously very appealing to audiences today. How would you describe your audience?
It's a very varied audience. We have, I'd say, probably mostly 30 to 60 in there, 60, 30 to 50 would be the median age if I took a poll, but there's always young kids to older people. I don't even know how to refer to them.
Right.
Older people, 60, maybe even some 70s in there. But it's, and they're very vocal, and, and they listen to what you say, so they can get very quiet too. So you have
Oh,
to,
great.
so you
Yeah.
don't misread that, that they're just listening. So you better have something good to say.
All right. Oh, that's very interesting. That's
But
very interesting.
I had to really be aware of that, because I took the people getting very quiet as to sort of them not liking you or not being engaged. I had to, get past that and have someone else point out, no, they're listening to what you're saying, that they're not rejecting it. So, it's so that, you're always beating yourself up, so at least I do.
Interesting. I bet there are families, generations coming too.
Absolutely.
I
Oh,
bet
yeah.
I
get
bet
a lot of them. My mom loves you, and but they'll have
yeah.
like several generations. They'll have, say, the 25-year-old will come with their mom and their kids.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you have 3 generations, and it's I think it's really awesome.
Yeah, it is.
They can
It's
share that together,
yeah, I think you're right. And it happens with fashion too. I see the same thing happening where which it's a little different with fashion, where they'll say to me, oh, I used to wear your clothes when I was younger, but I can't wear them now. But my daughter is wearing your clothes. And I think, why can't you wear them now? What are you giving up here? Like, why can't you? But right, but they can listen to your music, right? They can still appreciate your music, which is great. And it's like the theme song to your life, right? People can use your music as like this story of their lives in many ways, right?
Right. That feels strange to say, but yes, it's a real honor that
Yeah.
say that.
And people tell me, oh, I met my husband in your dress, and I got married in your dress, or I've got engaged. And I was like, so it's interesting that fashion and music are memorialized, right? There's a song or something or a concert or something that becomes a memory bank for a person's life. And same with what they wore. And I have it with music. I mean, there's music has so much, I can get so distracted by a song that I can't even sketch while I'm doing it. I get so moved. So I totally understand when they say that. So my question is, what happens to you? Do you like what are your how do you mark your memories? Like what are the events, or how do you do that as a musician?
Mark my memories.
Yeah, so like I can listen to songs, I listen to your music.
Mhm.
If there's a karaoke, I am singing your music. That's it, done. That's my tradition. There's no question you're on the top of the list. But I also have memories of us. I have memories of you in concert. They're my memories, and there are other musicians too that I think I like the way this person does this or whatever. But and then there are people who wear clothes and remember doing it. So is there anything that you think about, whether it's your own, a situation in your own concerts or a memory that something significant happened? Do you have those too? I wonder if musicians have them. I guess you do, right?
I guess I do. I don't, it's like I'm not a big picture taker, or I sort of live the experience when it's happening, and I'm not a good
So,
memory person,
so you're not taking a picture of your food and putting it on social media.
No, no, I'm not. And I find that a lot of times pictures don't do justice to whatever. Oh, certainly if you're taking pictures of the beautiful earth, and different, the ocean or the moon, or
Right.
whatever does it justice to what you're actually
Yeah.
seeing.
But also at a concert, I mean, I can't imagine people aren't taking pictures of you all the time, because seeing that photo then has a memory attached to it of feeling it, seeing it, and that's super important. I mean, I think for sure.
I find it interesting when people are taking videos of the big hits of I Love Rock and Roll, watching it through their camera as opposed to
Instead of, yeah, I know,
experiencing it in the moment,
I know.
And, I don't know. It's that just
I totally, I'm
I
fascinated
get
by
both.
that too.
I get both visions, but I
Yeah.
would,
But
just be in the
I think that basically social media wants to share the experience that it had seeing you, and there's something to that, but you miss the total experience by looking at like
right, right.
your favorite song, and you're looking at it through a camera. But it is a different time, and it's a different experience. So the inspiration, I think, for you comes from lots of different areas. Obviously, where do you seem to get the most inspiration? When does it happen? Like when is it that you think, oh, I just got something? Is it random, or how does that happen?
It's pretty random, but I'll tell you, it's always at the most inconvenient time. Is when you'll come up with a really good idea, and you have to decide, because I know I can't remember it, because I've tried
Yeah,
that before. We go, "Oh, okay, I can remember that for a minute and a half until I get to that." Never works.
yeah.
But it's so you have to make that conscious effort to, when you just get into the bathtub and something brings into your head, you got to be ready to jump out,
Yeah,
idea down, So I've lost several good ideas until I finally realized you gotta go through the
yeah,
discomfort of whatever it is, or the inconvenience. It's like and you're always being tested. Is it inconvenient, or is this the way uh, really good ideas happen?
yeah.
They they test you.
Yeah. So, for me, I get a lot of ideas in my sleep, and and I wake up, and you're right. I have to write it down right away, sketch it right away. Otherwise, it's gone. In a minute, it's gone. And I've always felt a little guilty that these ideas are coming to me, and I don't know where they're coming from. I've never seen them before except in my dream. And then somebody told me that, and I don't know if this is bullshit or not, but that we have our spirit is kind of busy at night, where we're sleeping, the spirit's going and busy and conjuring up, and that many of these ideas are actually brought to us. And I don't know if this happens with musicians or for you. Do you ever have any ideas that you wake up with?
You know, I'm not a dream rememberer. Once in a while I'll have something vivid, but no, I don't remember that any song has ever come to me in my sleep. But that doesn't mean it's not subliminal underneath there somewhere, and then it pops out later that day in
Yeah,
a form like I'm telling you, most inconvenient, get in the tub or some other
right.
thing. But no, that's amazing that that comes to you. But I
Yeah.
definitely feel that it's coming from someplace else. That it
Yes.
that you're
Yes.
being sent this, and you just have to be receptive and open to hearing it. You
Yeah.
know, you put it down and bounce right off your armor. You know.
Yeah, I'm so glad you said that, because I really feel, and I've heard other people who are creative to say they understand that it's like a gift, that it's coming to them. And so typically what happens? Do you think of the words to the song first, or do you think of the chords, the music, the sound? What is that
Yeah,
process?
it's usually a melody will come first, and I'm not sure. It could be a chorus, it could be a verse, it could just be a part of the song. And like I mentioned earlier, I have random little short 30 seconds music here,
Yeah.
a line or two of an idea there, and once in a while we sit down and put them together, where it just kind of fits together. But they come in random bits until I decide to let's make more of this. But
Uh-huh.
that's sort of a conscious decision to let's now do something with these pieces.
Mhm.
They could just
And
sit there and
yeah.
nothing.
And do you do that I'm sorry to ask all these
No,
personal
no,
questions, but do
not
you
at all.
do that when you're home, not on the road, or do you find that since you're like the energy is going when you're on the road, that you have more kind of um more of a continuation of that through work that you're thinking about? It's like, is it off the road or on the road when you're more productive?
I don't think it's necessarily more one than the other.
So it could be any time. And
Anytime
yeah.
I'm not around a guitar, then I'm just humming it into my phone, saying idea for a chorus or guitar riff or something.
Hmm.
Sometimes it's specific to this sounds like a riff and not
Yeah.
a chorus or verse music, a specific riff. So but yeah, it's kind of random.
Wow. Yeah. So and do you write with other people too? Do you find that there's somebody you'll collaborate with on, like you used to do stuff with Kenny, and but
Yeah, I mean, I do that sometimes. Yeah.
which is interesting too, right? When you get this other perspective on
Yeah, and
it's
deciding if you're going to do it from scratch or if you're going to each take some little bits and play the little pieces I'm talking about. Now you could just say, let's not listen to any of those stuff, yours or mine. Let's just
Mhm.
start fresh. But that can be a weird kind of pressure to just pull something out of the sky
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
you're just both waiting for inspiration. So sometimes it's good to start with each other's little pieces of ideas and see where that goes, because sometimes it really, really moves fast. Other times it's like you hit a wall and
Yeah.
nothing's happening.
So why cats?
No specific reason except that they don't have to be walked every couple of hours. I love all animals, and if I could I'd have a big menagerie.
Yeah.
As it is, I have a couple of cats, and
So they're more independent too.
They're more
Super you.
independent and don't need to be, looked in on as much as a dog would. So
Yeah.
it's a little less caretaking, but
I had 6 dogs at one time,
wow.
and because my 2 dogs unexpectedly had a litter, and I actually pulled the puppies out and felt, how can I give these away? And I promised them to these kids, and then I had to go buy them dogs because I kept the ones that I promised. And
What kind of dogs?
they're miniature dachshunds, and
Hmm.
they're very funny, and they're adorable. They're very affectionate, but they take over your life completely.
Right.
Like, they're very bossy dogs, and they like you have to like figure out how to get them not to run your life
Yeah.
for you. But I would, like you, I would have 50 of them if I could. But it's like,
I
as
really
it
want a
is.
crow. I'm like a crow. Yeah, I really want a crow bird.
And why?
Uh, I've just been reading about them lately. Well, I was just on a short vacation, probably like the only vacation I've taken in my life with my brother and sister about a week ago. We went to Ireland for a week.
Oh, you're
Go
kidding.
go look for our roots and stuff. And it was just a really magical trip. And we saw a lot of crows there. So I started reading about them and just, they're very intelligent. And um, I just have a thing for crows right now.
And you know what? If you would have asked me what bird would Joan think is the perfect bird, I think I probably would have said crow, to be honest.
Or a raven,
Yeah, yeah. No, seriously. That is fascinating. And there's supposedly um birds in general are a way that people who have passed come to connect with us. And
yes,
so I think that there's so much more than just the bird, that there's this guardian of some kind. So it's time for you to get a crow.
I believe all those things. Definitely.
And then there's a song in
Definitely. Oh, yeah.
that. For sure. So, Joan, I can't wait to see you in person performing. I'm really looking forward to it. I hope the tour is lots of fun for you too, because everybody wants you to be happy and healthy, and your vibrant, extraordinary self is such a gift to so many women and so many people for so many decades. And I am so glad to know you as a friend.
Thank you, Norma. It's so great to do this with you, and I look forward to seeing you.
Yes, I can't
Not
wait.
that long, not that long away.
I know, I know. I'm thrilled. So you look amazing. You still look the same. I mean,
I'm so little,
you
and
are.
that's the one thing that I know everybody when they come in and
It's
they
like,
look at me and they I know they want to say, God, you're so little. I say it for them. I say, yeah, I'm really little, right?
no,
Yeah, you could be 6 feet tall.
exactly, exactly. And it's interesting because I used to do clothes for Raquel Welch too,
Uh-huh.
for the Academy Awards and everything around the same time. And she's little too. She was like 5'4", really small, but the persona that you
Right.
guys have is so big that it's impossible to kind of put that together. And it's really extraordinary. But yours is this sound and this energy that is like a whole other level of it. So, yeah. So you're tiny and petite, but like a lot of energy going on there. And I can't wait to see you. And a big hug, Joan. I wish you lots of love and success forever.
A big hug back to you, and I'll do it in person soon.
Yes, yeah. I look forward to it. Thank you so much.
My
I
pleasure.
appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey, press follow and leave a comment after you listen to the podcast. Thanks.